Today we're going to be rating Dragon's Maze cards in Magic the Gathering. And the deal is, Dragon's Maze, when it came out, it was a huge, basically a massive flop. Nobody wanted any of the cards. No one wanted any of the packs as prizes. Everything was basically worth 0 except for like one card, one chase rare in the entire set. But here's the thing. Just like Ristic Studies out of, what was it, Prophecy? Some of these cards aged quite well. So let's look back on the set that was nobody liked, nobody wanted, and see what home these cards ended up. I want to start off with Legion's Initiative. I might be wrong, but I think this was like one of the cards hyped up during spoiler season. For red and a white, you have an enchantment. Red creatures get +1/+0. White creatures get +0/+1. And you have the ability of white and red. Exile Legion's Initiative. Exile all creatures you control. At the beginning of the next combat, return those cards to the battlefield under its owner's control. And those creatures gain haste until end of turn. I guess that was a way maybe to dodge sweepers, but even by today's standards, this be stinker. No, I don't know if does anyone play this card? I know the Commander players. You guys are so fearful of Supreme Verdict, Obliterate, like anything that will wipe your board. So you might want to have that Legion's Initiative. Maybe they were thinking of Commander at that time. But really, I don't know if they were. It was like back then. Like Commander was like this niche format going much bigger. You know, it was getting big. But like at the time they were designing the cards for basically competitive Magic. Liquid Soulfly says, sure, Dragon's Maze didn't do much for competitive, but it had some fun cards. Well, that's the deal. Like over time they did have fun cards, but they were terrible. Oh, and you know what? I was wrong. It was Aurelia's Fury. That was the card. Aurelia's this was the card that was hyped up during spoiler season. Oh, we got this red. This is Gatecrash. Same Dragon's Maze. All right, maybe we're wrong about that. Oh, let's go out with the super chats. They know what's going up. Ellen Chen Gaming. The whole $2. You're moving up for the $1. Etherling. That was... They're trying to bring Morphling back, but for 1 more mana, but way more powerful. So for 6 mana, you got a 4/5. That's a way bigger butt on that Morphling. It almost looks like they're tag teaming over here. It's the 8thling World Tag Team Championships. Pay a blue. Exile Aetherling. Return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Again, that's dodging them sweepers. Pay a blue. Aetherling is unblockable this turn, so an upgrade from flying. Pay 1 gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and then pay 1 gets -1/+1 until end of turn. Saw a little niche, like little niche playability in standard at the time, but overall this card just ended up sucking. You want to pay 6 mana for this thing? It doesn't even have an ETB. I mean, so you better play it with 7 mana, or it's probably gonna die to your opponent's removal or something. You know. Maze's End is strong in Historic. Well, it is now. Maze's End did have the last laugh. After all, Maze's End was such a bad deck. People did play it, though. It was like this stupid fog deck. Although I once saw Maze's End... Oh, so we're talking about the card. Did anyone super chat this already? Nope? Okay. Maze's End. The land! Enters the battlefield, tap. Tap, add 1 mana to your mana pool. Pay 3, tap. Return Maze's End to its owner's hand. Boing! Search your library for a gate card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. If you control 10 or more gates with different names, you win the game. We get a win the game sound effect here. Now the deal is, back then, I mean, they made more gates since then, buffing up the Maze's End. But at the time, they're only just, your gates were limited. Everything came into battlefield tapped, it didn't gain you life. It was basically the worst dual lands of all time, except they were gates. So your gate deck, a little bit underwhelming, but there was a Maze's End fog deck, and this is a true story. I once watched someone playtest Modern Splinter Twin in its most powerful form versus Maze's End, and it lost. It's like someone just wanted to play some Magic. It's like, I don't have a Modern deck on me. And they're like, well, what do you got? I got Maze's End. All right, let's go. And they couldn't win. The twin player had infinite creatures on the battlefield. Fog, 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 fog. Maze's End, Maze's End. And then they won. It was a beautiful sight to see. So you don't underestimate them, Maze's End. Don't underestimate them. Ralzeric! Yeah, the Ralzeric, right? This was the flip a coin thing. This is the, you'll get your slot machine on. It looked promising, but it just was completely outclassed by basically everything else. And all future planeswalkers. So we got for 4 mana, 4 loyalty, +1. Tap target permanent, then untap another target permanent. So that doesn't look so bad. -2, deal 3 damage to any target. And then -7, of course, flip 5 coins, take an extra turn after this one for each coin that comes up heads. What are the odds that you're not going to flip a single heads? Anyway, 50-cent planeswalker. You want proof? Look, or it's, I don't know, 59 cents. Oh, it got reprinted. Heads I win, tails you lose. Who knows what the price of the value of this thing was back then. Stop gatekeeping the gate deck. Nothing is gatekeeping that thing. Never. All right. Let's get one from the chat. Did anyone super chat Voice of Resurgence? All right, good. Oh, no, you did. We got Balder. What are you, nuts? Super chatting like the most popular cards. Okay, this was the one chase rare. That's it. This was holding the whole set together. Today, it's $2. It used to be like 50 bucks, I think. Like, it was a good chunk of change. They have reprinted it since then. It was the only card worth reprinting. It's a white-green 2/2 elemental. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, or when Voice of Resurgence dies, create a green and white elemental creature token with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. When it was spoiled, Brad Nelson said that this is better than Jace the Mind Sculptor, or this is Jace the Mind Sculptor. He was a little off on that prediction, but it was a good card. It did see play everywhere. Maybe not even in Standard. It didn't have a good home in Standard, but it saw really good play in Modern. Like, basically, if you're up against a blue deck, I mean, the blue players, this was the start. Well, I don't know if this is the start of the hurt, but I mean, they were hurting even more. Incredible card. And also, it, like, you know, made the Jund players cry. You kill this Voice of Resurgence, you get this elemental, which is enormous usually. It's just out of this world. All right, moving on. We got to get something from Henrik. Says Notion Thief. Any niche cards here? Notion Thief. Blue, black, 2 generic for a 3/1. Human rogue with flash. If an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps. Instead, that player skips that draw and you draw a card. Found a home in Legacy, believe it or not. And its greatest play is your opponent's Jace the Mind Sculptor trying to brainstorm, and what happens is you don't get to brainstorm, you get nothing, draw no 3 cards, but then you have to put 2 cards from your hand back on top of your library. You got basically like him to Mind Rotted. Yeah, Mind Rot, because you get to choose the cards that go into the dumpster. But it was it did see some play, and I think now is like a Commander staple. So this set was, maybe this was the first, like, Commander Master set before there was Commander Masters. The set, in the end, like, basically saw more play for Commander than it did for competitive play. Welcome, Rugal. Okay, we got, Abzo with Wear and Tear. Initially, this was better than, like, Disenchant. I can't click on it because this is as good as it gets. So red 1 generic, destroy target artifact, or pay a white, destroy target enchantment. So effectively, if you're playing Boros, you might as well play this thing over Disenchant because it does the same thing, except you could get a discount on the white if you're actually trying to destroy target enchantment. Saw a lot of play. Actually, might even still see some play as far as I'm concerned. Next super chat, we've got Balder's Master of Cruelties. You love your Master of Cruelties. This card sees no play anywhere except Commander. It's just a command. I don't know. Is it even good in Commander? It's a red, black, 3 generic, 1/4, first strike, death touch, can only attack alone. When Master of Cruelties attack a player and isn't blocked, that player's life total becomes 1. Master of Cruelties assigns no combat damage this turn. So effectively, if there's no defenders, then I guess you're good. I mean, it's golden. But if there are any of defenders, and there usually is by turn 5, then I mean, you got yourself a 1/4 wall. With that touch, I mean, hey, it's good on blocking duty. I'm not going to deny that. And randomly, if you let your guard down, well, Master of Cruelties will put you to the cruel life total of 1. RGT is like such a difficult topic today. No, it doesn't matter what we pick. We're just evaluating the cards by today's stat. I'm just curious though, from the Commander community, is this like tier 1 competitive, or is this tier 1 casual? This is a most busted, broken casual card. Rugal says, Master of Cruelty is attacking with Kali of the Vast. Make him unblockable, then someone's dead big time. Whoa. It's a true story. Just donate both of my chats, LML. I didn't see Ted Super the Blood Baron also. Oh yeah, you got. See, that's the danger of super chatting good stuff, because other people super chat good stuff. Barracat, one of my favorites. Possibility Storm. it's this wacky crazy card. Alright, Possibility Storm. 5 mana enchantment. Whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, that player exiles it. Where does it go? Then exiles cards from the top of his or her library until he or she exiles a card that shares a card type with it. The player may cast the card without paying its mana cost. Then he or she puts all cards exiled with Possibility Storm on the bottom of his or her library in a random order. This is just jank, right? This is just you just playing this to have fun. This doesn't actually do anything. You have to exile. You basically, it's a cascader. Then exiles top cards at their library until they share a card type with it. Turns everything into some weird cascade. This should have been done on yesterday's show. What, are you broke or something? Or do you have more better ideas yesterday? Okay, this card by today, junk. Just pure junk. Just I guess there are some combos with this, because if you have something in play, I don't know, if you have something in play that says that, you know, counter a spell or cards can't be cast if you didn't spend mana on it, then that's a combo. But it's mostly jank. I imagine there are a few combos. Title is Slander. Worst MTG set in recent history is Oath of the Gatewatch. Hey, we'll get to that. That has some good cards in it. That has some good stuff. I can see, yeah, you Commander players are all over this damn thing. But this is just jank the set. Maybe I'll rename the title. The most jank set in recent MTG history. Okay, I'll rename it to Jank. Everyone on the replay already sees it. Alright, we got LN Chen Gaming again with Exava Rakdos Blood Witch. Exava Rakdos. After this, I'll take one from the crowd. With... Oh yeah, this thing! 4 mana, 3/3, first strike, haste, unleash. You may... Does anyone remember the unleash mechanic? You may have this creature enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. It can't block as long as it has a +1/+1 counter on it. Each other creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has haste. Weird ability, the second one. Yeah, anyway. I think it's unplayable. Henrik! Pilfered Plans. Pilfered Plans. Oh, we got blue-black. So there's the Dragon's Maze version. Oh, there we go. It's okay. We got Dimir, 1 generic sorcery. Target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Draw 2 cards. Unplayable nonsense. I don't know, is anyone using this damn thing? Mirko Voss haunted anyone with knowledge of the maze, draining the chances of other guilds. Next super chat is we did King Ginger's. Yellen, you're getting greedy here. I'm gonna skip yours, and if I remember, then I remember. If I don't remember, eat your $2. Emera Boulder with Emera Tandris. What is this? 7 mana, 5/7. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to creature tokens you control. Prevent all damage. The prevent all damage. Okay, you got that token deck. I guess Amatandris will do it, but like still 7 mana. As far as I'm concerned, this thing is unplayable. But yeah, I guess this is good for a token, like a token deck. Like this is a token commander. Is this a good token commander, or is this better in the 99? Because it doesn't make tokens, like she don't make tokens by herself. So maybe you gotta ignore her. I remember the story of Amara and Voice. Their effects were supposed to be swapped. Really? With Voice of Resurgence? On this? And Voice of Resurgence had this, prevent all combat that would be dealt to creatures. That would be insane. Absolutely insane. Abe says better than 99. All right, we got some good feedback here. Vic the Foxy Gamer, breaking / entering. Did you guys know that the rules got changed because of this card? Breaking and entering had some stupid combo with, what's it called? There was a mechanic in another set that was like, starts with an I. Like where you can play a spell for free when you cast the card with converted mana cost less than the card cast. And the point was that they would, you just have to, if only one side could be cast, then they could cast both sides or something like that. Ugh, I don't remember. So the total converted mana cost of this card was either 2 or 6. And you could play a 3 mana card to end up playing, I think, both halves of this card. Target player puts the top 8 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, and you got to put a creature at the same time. No, it wasn't Cascade. It was it starts with an, I think it starts with an I. Something, not Inquisition, in something. It was not a Cascade! There was another one, damn it! They didn't, they changed the rule for Cascade too. But there was another one. No, it's not, nope, it's not Imprint. I'm not gonna think, I don't remember it. And the problem was that, like, and it broke things like breaking and entering, what was it, back and call? Back / call? It wasn't even a good combo. It wasn't even good. But they changed the rule because they could foresee that this was going to be a problem like deep in the future. Was it improvise? Something improv. What was? No. What is a card with the improvise mechanic? If it was. Platonic Liquid was like, I know what you're talking about, and I'll find it. I think it was, no, it wasn't in Lorwyn. It was like in a even more recent set. It's not Cypher. It's not Cascade. That's a separate rules change. Improvise? It was I want it, but I don't know a card with improvise. Okay, whatever. We'll figure it out later. Anyway, so breaking and entering actually saw like a smidge of competitive play, but overall it's just pure jank. Oh, I was wrong. Did not start with an I. It was expertise. Yeah, Kari Zev's expertise. I guess it wasn't a mechanic, but all the expertise cards. I led you guys all astray. You figured it out magically. Thank you so much. Exclamation points on magically. So the idea is you may cast a card with convert mana cost 2 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. And back then, you could play both halves of this thing for some reason, because you could cast at least the breaking part, and then you got both halves of it. So they had to change the rule to say that these split cards, the converted mana cost is the total between the two, not the halves. So anyway, a little bit of MTG history there. Next super chat, I will go back and remember LN Chan Gaming. You and your Melik, is it Paragon? Another jank card. 6 mana for a 2/4 weird wizard. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may cast instant and sorcery cards on the top of your library. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your library, copy it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from whatever. So copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Does anyone even play this card anymore? I remember there was like a lot of Melik commander decks back then, but now I'm certain that there's just a bunch of cards that have completely gutted this thing. Erlen says it's not bad. Not bad at all. Alright. So sure. We'll just say it stood the test of time. I still play it, says Ellen. That's why you super chatted with it. Starts with an E, bro. Yeah, well, my memory's not so good. Those cards were also jank in competitive play, but they saw play. Okay, the Jaded says brain in a jar. And also mentioning the expertises. Brain in a jar, 2-mana artifact. Pay 1, tap, put a charge counter on Brain in a jar. Then you may cast an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Brain in a jar from your hand without paying its mana cost. Pay 3, tap, remove X charge counters from Brain in a jar to scry X. Seems like junk. Does anyone use this? Seems like a really awful way to scry stuff. You may cast an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Brain from a jar without paying its mana cost. Oh wait, it can be done from your hand. So a way of playing somewhat. It's like, so basically it's one of those charge cards. You charge the mana on this thing, saving it for later, but you still have to like. You're basically paying as much mana converted to the card that you're actually playing. Oh, it's not even in Dragon's Maze. What the hell is this? Yeah, good point. Okay, so disqualified. How did I even? Gotta stay focused, Nikachu. Gotta stay focused. Okay, Chupacabra with Render Silent. Render Silent, blue, white. Counter target spell. Its controller can't cast spells this turn. I guess it's like an anti-combo card, but there's so many better, like, this is one of the worst counter spells among all counter spells. 3 mana for a counter spell? You guys like this counter spell in Commander? You got so many better counter spells. Anyway, let's get back to some super chats. They paying for this show. Jesus, you and LN Chan Gaming. Did we look at Amara? Oh no, I did look at Amara. Okay, well, moving on. Oh, you have a voice resurgence. Okay, we did look at that one. So I'm gonna donate that one to the chat. It's a counter in white. Come on, we gotta absorb. There's millions of counters in white. Could completely destroy a combo player. There's a lot of cards that can completely destroy a combo player. That just destroys them for 1 turn. In fact, they might be able to combo off on top of this. With that on top of the stack. Okay, Half-Fizz says Crypt Incursion. This card did see a lot of play. I don't know what you Commander players feel about this card, but Mill likes this card. It's a black 2 generic instant. Exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard. You gain 3 life for each card exiled this way. Like if a Mill player, so it's graveyard hate for decks that utilize creatures in the graveyard. And also, for a mill player, it's also good at just gaining a bunch of life versus an aggro deck. You've milled, like, 45 cards in their deck. You just need a few more turns, but you're at 3 life. Then you Crypt Incursion, and basically, you get straight back into the game. Great card. And then we got Yo Little Ted with the Blood Baron. Weirdly, okay, this card was actually pretty hot at the time. It saw play in Standard, it saw play in Modern, it now sees play absolutely nowhere. But it's 5 mana, 4/4, lifelink pro white, pro black. As long as you have 30 or more life, an opponent has 10 or less life, it gets bigger. It becomes a 6/6 and has flying. I think for a vampire, it's still pretty good. It's not bad at all. Not bad whatsoever. So I think for a vampire deck, if you're in, like, white-black, I think it still stands the test of time. Very playable. Very playable. Okay, let's go look at the live freebie chat here. Christopher B. with Sinister Possession. Would a Garbo win more? Well, what were you talking about, like, Blood Baron? The thing is, in Commander, if someone's at 10 or less life, I mean, then you're taking huge chunks of life out of somebody who has more than 10 life. It only needs 1 person. This is... I don't even remember this card, even existing. It's a black aura enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature attacks or blocks, its controller loses 2 life. Yep, completely unplayable. Unplayable nonsense. Next up, we've got Abe. What do you got for us, Abe? The Delver Killer Skylasher. Oh my god. I think this card still sees play somewhere. Where is it though? I want to say maybe Pioneer, but I don't know against what deck. I guess the Spirits decks. Green 1 generic 2/2 flash can't be countered. And then all of a sudden, reach protection from blue. I'm telling you, when I first played against this card, that was a shock to the system. I was very unhappy. I played the Mono Blue Devotion deck in Standard, and all of a sudden people are sideboarding Skylashers versus me. And this thing is unbeatable. Pro Blue? That was rude. I think my only tech versus this card was to play Rapid Hybridization on my own creature, turn into a 3/3, and then to attack. It turned into a 3/3, not an elephant, into a frog. 3/3 frog, and then I was able to attack through the Skylasher. It was pretty bad. Does Master Cruelty C play? Probably. Just ask Balder. Balder will tell you all about it. So anyway, this card, sort of stood the system. Yeah, Frog Lizard, to be specific. The Lizard People. Which, hold on, was that? No, that was not a card from here. Okay, what do we got here? Let's take a from the freebie section. Sun Collector? From Toads? Oh, no, not Sin Collector. Like, you collect the sun? What kind of powers do you have? We got black, white, 1 generic for a 2/1 human cleric. Enters the battlefield. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an instant or sorcery card from it and exile that card. This card was tier 1 at the time. Saw a really good play in Standard. Saw play in Modern, weirdly enough. And now sees no play at all. Unless you Commander players see it. Which I totally forgot about this card. This is a weird card that was like, saw play, and now is completely unplayable. But it was good at the time. Like, it was like 3 mana, 2/1. Like, you exile the card. It's gone. Say goodbye. Sayonara. It doesn't come back. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Remove Sin Collector. Your thing is also gone. They go down together. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't go back to hand. It actually was really, really good. Saw play... Oh, yeah, humans played a little bit of it. But it's like... probably was more of a metagame call at the time. But yeah. It's weird seeing how many Standard All-Stars are trashed by today's standards. There wasn't even a whole lot of Standard All-Stars back then. Alright, we've got Jacob Thune, Progenitor Mimic. Now this is a card I remember was a Commander All-Stars. It's still, wow, they reprinted it. They reprinted it to death. 6 mana for a 0/0. You can add Progenitor Mimic, enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it gains at the beginning of your upkeep. If this creature isn't a token, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of this creature. It's 6 mana though, so it has no competitive play whatsoever, but it's got like really good jank utility. I'm pretty certain that even Commander, this card's probably not very good. Cloning something else and waiting till next turn to get another copy of it. Basically, you're begging that this card... you gotta get Swiftfoot boots onto this thing? Platonic Liquid likes the Progenitor Mimic. I guess it stood the test of time in Jank World, in Casual Land. Now this is absolute jank. It's trash, but it's fun. True story. Okay, we're gonna give the nod to Progenitor Mimic. Really stood the test of time in Commander. Oh, you hear that sound? You know what that means. You know where to get your jank cards from. We're going to look at more jank cards, but you can get them from FusionGamingOnline.com. The first place I look to get all my jank cards. Oh, is it still... Do we still have the Urza Block Singles Deal of the Week? We do. Save 15% off all Urza Block Singles. One of the most powerful sets that have ever been printed. They got a lot of good, nice jank nonsense like the... What's it called? I don't even remember what this card is. The land. Legendary land. Regenerate your creatures. Whatever the lands regenerate your creatures. Exactly. And so if you want to get 15% off, you go buy from FusionGamingOnline.com. Also, if you want to get an additional deal and also support the channel, you're going to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get an additional 5% off all your purchases. And we're going to thank... Who else are we going to thank, people? We're going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Some of those jank cards are also competitive, and if you want to unlock your creativity in formats like Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, or you just want to play the best deck at any given moment in the metagame, you're going to want to use Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_B3R. And back to Progenitor Mimic. Everyone loves Progenitor Mimic. What is mind static? It says Vic the Foxy get mind static. Blue 3 generic instant. Carry target spell unless its controller pays 6. Now that is a mana leak. That's a mana leak no one sees anymore. Or didn't even see play at the time. See that? I mean, this is part of the set. I mean, these cards were just really unplayable. This is Supreme Draft Chaff. I don't even know if it's playable. Oh, it's a set review. It's a set review. Welcome, Ogre. Or Ogre. I saw an interesting... What are you up to, Toilet Duck? Dead Bridge Chant? It did come from Dragon's Maze. So we got Golgari 4 generic for an enchantment. Enters the battlefield, put the top 10 cards of your library into your graveyard. That's danger. And at the beginning of your upkeep, choose a card at random in your graveyard. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. That's card advantage. This obviously is not very good, but, well, whatever. It's some sort of value. I figured that if Dragon's Maze was such a bad set, I'd help show off. Yeah, exactly. Gotta show off some of them bad cards that actually existed in this set. So this is like another one of those cards. Like, if you're in Battle Cruiser Commander, maybe this card will do something. If you're in competitive Commander, you're gonna be dead. You're gonna look at your Dead Bridge Chant in your hand, you'll be like, why do I come out to this this playgroup? You guys are like so much on Spike. Did anyone mention Spike Jester in the super chats? Okay, I'll look up Spike. What you guys are? Abzo is with Spike Jester. Spike Jester. Ah, yes, the 3-1 with haste. There was, for like 2 mana, there was a Rakdos standard, a jank Rakdos standard deck that played this. It wasn't very good, but it was okay. And that was the last we heard of Spike Jester again. Oh, it's a goblin. That I didn't know about. Could have been called the Goblin Jester. Or the Spike Goblin. Okay, next super chat. We did Blood Baron. Oh, yeah, we did Blood Baron. King Ginger said, donate! Alright, I think Trait Doctoring was taken by... Yeah, the Trait Doctoring is super chatted. We'll get to it. We'll give the King Ginger super chat to Super Salem, War Leader's Helix. Oh yeah, that's the Super Lightning Helix, isn't it? Get this, not 2 mana, 4 mana! War Leader's Helix deals 4 damage to target creature or player, you gain 4 life. Maybe if Burn is a big enough deck in Modern, and they need like an extra little oomph to win in the mirror, they'll start playing War Leader's Helix. Are you a Dimir dude or a Boros bro? Oh, I like that. If I remember correctly, Dimir was like the worst archetype. So like when you went to pre-release and there was like 2 people in the Dimir section, like basically everyone in the room knew except them. Or maybe they're just hardcore Dimir that like they can't betray their colors. They just couldn't betray. Anyway, War Leader's Helix is a terrible card. Terrible. Awful. There we go. Platonic Liquid says, oh, don't super chat good cards? Trade Doctoring. I can't remember. This card rings a bell. Like it actually does something. Oh no, maybe I'm wrong. Blue Sorcery! Change the text of target permanent by replacing all instances of one color word with another, or one basic land type with another until end of turn, and as Cipher. True story, I tried to build a deck with cards like these on Magic the Gathering Online, and they did nothing. Magic the Gathering Online, and I don't think anyone knows, because no one in their right mind tries to play these cards. What happened in Draft? Like these cards, or maybe these cards wouldn't even played in Draft. Like I tried to play with these cards digitally on Magic the Gathering Online in a Merfolk deck by like, you know, basically changing, like Lord of Atlantis would go from Island Walk to like Planeswalk, depending on the scenario. And they just didn't, I would play Trait Doctoring, it would do nothing. Just stone cold do nothing. It would resolve and nothing would happen. They just did not bother programming this niche ability into Magic the Gathering Online. And I don't even, and obviously no one's complained about it. I'm the only person, I think I'm the only person that may ever mention this, because I'm the only person who's stupid enough to try to play a card like this. So Magic the Gathering Online Cypher cards are just JPEGs? No, the Cypher works. It's the change the text of target permanent by replacing the color of, like, instance of one color word or, like, a land type with another one. That doesn't work. It just did nothing. It's just resolved and gone. Or I guess the Cypher might have worked, but, like, the ability didn't happen. Alright, next super chat. Vic the Foxy Gamer with the Pilfered Plans. I don't know, did we? Hold on, Pilfered Plans. Yeah, we did do Pilfered Plans. So we're gonna donate that one. We're gonna donate it to... Maddie already saying in advance, Pilfered Plans is actually not bad. I just recently rewatched the Dragon's Maid's Pro Tour, and it was decent. What, in Limited? I don't even, there's not a single card that played that in actual Magic. Or, I like, constructed Magic. Because I don't consider Limited real Magic. Just kidding. Not trying to offend the Limited players. Said Limited was, like, not real Magic. I'd get the whole Limited community after me. Okay, Advent of the Worm. 4 mana, instant. Create a 5/5 green worm creature token with trample. I don't think this card's that bad. It ended up seeing, like, no play. But, like, hey, 4 mana for a 5/5 flash speed creature with trample? I think that's okay. I'm a little surprised. Maybe people don't even know this card exists anymore. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's a big boy at instant speed. I like it, but, like, it doesn't see any play at all. If the commander players don't play it, then this actually was a huge fail. But I like it. It was a limited bomb. Oh no, it was limited where that card saw play. Ugh. No good. No good at all. Steve Cooper with Render Silent. Oh, we did this one. Okay, so we gonna donate this one. The worst counterspell. Sorry that you got... I'm sorry you got sniped off there, Steve Cooper. Sorry you got sniped off. Let's go back. Is Sire a super chat? We did not do Sire of Insanity? Oh, wow, that's wild. Alright, we'll do, Esley Sirens of Insanity. Well, someone else mentioned Sire of Insanity as well. Whatever, we'll give credit to Esley. Sire of Insanity. Esley got 2 super chats without super chatting anything. Now, this card is real. This is a red-black 4 generic 6/4 demon. At the beginning of each end step, that each player discards his or her hand. Just dump their hand straight into the graveyard. If you can play this out on turn 1, which some Reanimator players can, it's basically game over. Like, especially if you do this on the play, I mean, they're basically top decking looking for lands. So this card not only is pretty good in Commander, which, you know, it's format, everyone's trying to hoard a bunch of cards in their hand. It's also very, very good in competitive play. It's a little outclassed these days. There are better Reanimator targets, but it had its time in its day, and it's still very strong, depending on the metagame. What about Hidden Strings? This card is so bad. This is what... Okay, maybe we should have a show. Cards that are so bad that ended up being good. Or being, I don't know, remotely playable. It's a blue 1 generic sorcery. You may tap or untap target permanent. Then you may tap or untap another target permanent. And it's got Cypher. This ended up being part of the Lotus Field combo deck in Pioneer. Wild! And its purpose was just to untap Lotus Field and get more mana. Tap or untap target permanent, then you may tap or untap another target permanent. So, like, I think, oh, it has to be another target permanent. Whatever. Another land, no big deal. You net, like, a ton of mana off of this card. And that's all you gotta do. Keep making more mana, keep drawing more cards, keep making more mana. Love me my Lotus Field. Oh, God. You're one of those people. Hey, careful! That deck is in range of getting banned. No one likes that deck. I actually like that deck because I have a good matchup. I play Spirits, so I don't have no problem playing against Lotus Field. I like seeing the Lotus Field matchup, but most people don't. It's absolutely terrible. Maddie says the worst part of Dragon's Maze was the million clue stones you open from packs. They're everywhere. Let's look at a clue stone. That was true. I think I remember Wizards R&D asked the pro players, what do you guys think of these clue stones? And they're like, they suck. 3 mana? Like, and also, if we looked at a bunch of these cards, like, the curve starts at 3, so you don't want to spend 3 mana on a stupid Azorius Clue Stone. You want to spend, like, 2 mana on this damn thing. So, like, you can sack it to draw a card, but still, it's, like, a little too clunky. It's a little too clunky-ish. The Clue Stone Mega Cycle. They should have been errated into clues. Oh! That's a flavor fail here for the Azorius Clue Stone. We've been spoiled with Signets. True story. That's only what that's the next stage up to the Signets. You gotta sack the Signets to draw cards. Witherfang says Lotus Field is a deck I really want to play in Pioneer, but Modern already cost all my attention right now. And your money! What if you have a spare few $100? The good thing about Pioneer is it's pretty cheap. Compared to Modern, that is. Why the crack costs 2 mana is beyond me. Is that too much? Is that too much mana? You want to sack it for what? I guess 1 mana is fine. You know, that's true. I mean, if you wanted to cycle this is 5 mana for a cycler. That's so bad. Cycling for 4 mana seems pretty reasonable. Next super chat. A Station Disaster with Debt to the Deathless. This is a jank card I hear about all the time. Okay, what is it with each you people are fascinated with each opponent losing life and you gaining life. Black, black, white, white, X. Sorcery. Each opponent loses 2 times X life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. But you're on, like, you need to make a lot of mana. What infinite mana combos are there in Orzhov? Not very good. Anyway, this is definitely very supreme. I don't know, you guys like it, I guess, in Commander. So, but it's such a bad card. I don't even, is it even good in Commander? I would not assume so. I think people play this with the hope, with the dream of it being good. But then when they actually play it, it's not, well, it is, they lose 2 times X life. That's not nothing. But even if you play this for 8 mana, you drain them for 8? Because the X was 4? I don't know. That's Orzhov in a nutshell. Dreaming for big things that never happen. It's funny, with Sanguine Bond and Exquisite Blood combo in EDH. Now that's a combo I can get behind. But this is like, when do you have 8 mana? Like, even if you achieve like 8, 10 mana in play, let's say you get 10 mana in play, you're just going to drain them for 12. I guess you might kill off 1 person. Maybe. I guess you could Bomberman combo with it. Maybe. Anyway. We'll give it a pass. I know Commander players just absolutely love that card. Also Station Disaster with Riot Control. Oh, I haven't heard about this card in a million years. White 2 generic instant. You gain 1 life for each creature your opponent controls. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. That was a card in the Dragon's Maze deck back in the day. Is this even good? Who the hell is playing this card? It's a bad fog. Okay, it's a fog that gains some light. It's still a fog. Fogs are bad. Fog bad. Threat good. I remember people would sideboard Sire of Insanity for control matchups in Standard. Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, they tap out for anything. Sire of Insanity. Goodbye hand. Goodbye game. Splinter Twin hates this? Not really. They just make because you have, let's say you make 1 billion tokens. Attack for 1 billion. Then you gain 1 billion life. But they could just gonna attack for 2 billion next turn. You know, if you have infinite anything, you have infinite. Infinite beats infinite. Infinite plus 1 beats infinite. In Magic the Gathering. Let's take this one from the crowd. Trostani Summoner. This looks like the same art as Trostani. Like, it looks identical to me. And it has the same mana cost. It's 7 mana. Hold on. Is this... Yeah, it is Dragon's Maze. Alright, it's 7 mana for a 1/1. Wow! That is a very expensive... It's a very high mana cost for a very, very small creature. When the summoner enters the battlefield, put a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance, a 3/3 green centaur creature token, and a 4/4 green rhino creature token with trample into the battlefield. All right, I understand. It makes sense now. It's more than a 1/1. All right, we're gonna look at Abe talking again about the Brain in a Jar. Brain in a Jar was the card that broke the Dragon's Maze fuse cards, not the Expertise. Huh? No, it was. I mean, maybe Brain in the Jar was also like a card that broke that broke the rule. But playing in Modern, it was the Expertise cards because those were the Expertise cards can be cast very easily. Brain in the Jar, you have to like charge it up millions of turns. You can have this basically in play by turn 2. Turn 1, Birds of Paradise. Turn 2, Kari Zev's Expedition. Then like combo off with a fuse card. The deck sucked, but it was like people played it. I never saw Brain in the Jar in Modern. Ellen Chan Gaming is back with more super chats. We gotta save it. I am saying the D&D set is worse. You know what? The D&D set, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna look into that one again. We could revisit it. There's some good classics in that D&D set. It's very recent. All right, Platonic Liquid. What do you got for us? Since it's topical, Azorius, Dimir, Izzet, or Simic? I think most people would side with Simic, or Izzet? What do you guys think? You let us all know. Who do you pledge allegiance to if you're a blue player? Are we missing one here? No, we're not. Those are the 4. The 5th color is blue. If you ask me, I would go Izzet. I'd like Izzet. I like what Izzet does. I've always been a fan of the Izzet cards. The idea of playing Lightning Bolt in a blue deck, love it. Dimir, thank you. I like blue. I am in the same boat, Tommy said. I like blue. Honestly, I prefer not to splash. I like being pure blue. Or I guess I'm blue colorless, if you call that a color combination. Platonic's like, is it? Yes, Pog. But I mean, if you put a gun to my head, you force me to choose like another color. You must ally with one of these. I'm gonna go with Izzet. All right, next. Oh, we did Possibility Storm, Super Salem. So sorry, your super chat got sniped off. So what we do is we donate it to the crowd, the freebie section. Where is a freebie person? Arethusa, Life Drain. No, hold on. I think you're just talking about another card. Turret, Plasm Capture. Plasm Capture. What the hell is this? Blue, blue, green, green, instant. Counter target spell. At the beginning of your next pre-combat main phase, add X mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool where X is that spell's converted mana cost. That's terrible. I guess it's okay. Like, you get a threat. You're playing... I mean, if you have a bunch of mana up, whatever. Pay 4 mana. I'm going to guess this is a Commander All-Star or a Commander Staple. It's a 50-cent rare. That's higher than Progenitor Mimic at the moment, although Progenitor Mimic has been reprinted a few times, so I'm going to guess this. This Zybers. It's a doable card. Doable and Zybers. Crypto Rob. Did we do Rurik Thar? Oh, we did not. This card is insane. This card is actually really good. Green, red, 4 generic for a 6/6 Ogre, Vigilance Reach. Attacks each turn if able. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, Rurik Thar deals 6 damage to that player. If you can somehow get this thing in play before you're dead, against a lot of combo... I mean, they can't... Like, a combo deck can't do anything about this. Combo player looks at this as like, well, okay, guess I die. I'm not going to be able to play enough spells to actually combo off. Best commander? That'll keep them command... And you know what? The fact that it's 4 generic means you can get this out pretty early. What's up with its arm? It's got no arm. It's all Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker on us. Got sliced off in a lightsaber battle. What is this, a big axe for an arm? Yeah, I guess so. Poor guy. Yo Little Ted suggested that we just sniped him. Well, let's go. Where's Yo Little Ted? I don't see any more super chats here. Where's Yo Little? There's Blood Baron. Did I miss it? No, I don't see it unless you're like really far behind on the chat. Okay, next we did Render Silent. Where Riot? No, we did Riot Control. I need to catch up here. Gaze of Granite. X equals 0. Take that, tokens. But you could also you could get that from like engineered explosives for 0 mana. So Gaze of Granite, black, green, black, black, X. Sorcery. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X or less. Keep it low. Keep your costs high. Keep your opponent's cost low and blow them all up. So yes, this is a token destroyer. Although you are paying 3 mana for that token destroyer. Gaze of Granite is... I guess it's fine. You know, even back then, we thought that this was going to see more play in actual competitive Magic. Just was a little too clunky, but I'm sure it's fine in Commander. Okay, Stanel is like Teysa. Teysa. Okay, what is this Teysa? Which one? I don't know which one came in Okay, this is... Oh, this one! This Dragon Maze one. Okay, so 7 mana for a 4/4. Vigilance, protection from creatures. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, destroy that creature. I mean, that's nasty. Put a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Competitive-wise, garbage. 7 mana, impossible. Now, Commander-wise, I don't know. Maybe playable. I will take a look. Stanel said, "Mommy, this is your mom? You have mommy issues here? This is some..." Anyway, I have nothing else to say about this one. So I'll just assume this is like fine in Commander. Fine-ish. Good in Commander, not bad for a human deck in general. No, you're still on the way. Here, King Ginger. Council of the Absolute. 4 mana, 2/4 Human Advisor. As Council of the Absolute enters the battlefield, name a card. Other than a creature or land. That's not... Feels very limited in my opinion. Your opponents can't cast cards with the chosen name. Spells with the chosen name you cast... Sorry. Spells with the chosen name you cast cost 2 less to cast. Weird. So, your opponents can't cast cards with the chosen name. I named Soul Ring! Oops, too late. It's 4 mana. I have no idea how this card works. Choose a card. So basically you can make... So you can either tax your opponent's cards to make them unplayable. Like you cannot play... I don't know. I'm trying to think. Thassa's Oracle. You can't play Thassa's Oracle. Or you can play... You can name something that makes your cards cheaper. Except they're going to see it coming. They completely see it coming. Crypto Rob says, I remember playing Assemble the Legion as one of my win con in my American Control deck. Jeskai Control. Vic the Foxy Gamer with Renegade Krasis. That actually saw some play. Because it untaps things. Oh, okay, I'm wrong. I was thinking of something completely different. Okay, Renegade Krasis. 3 mana, 3/2 with Evolve. When it evolves, put a counter on each other creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Oh, but it already needs to have a counter. This card is such... This is jank! Now that is jank above jank. I think even for the Commander players, you're going to have a tough time making this card, you know, viable. Make it work. I'm going to pay 4 mana and make this card cost 2... What, make this card cost 2? Yeah, I'm going to pay 4 mana... to make another card of mine cost 2 less. I guess you can choose a card that everyone plays, so it's cheaper for you, and then they can't play the card. I guess that's the key, but that's awkward. L and P, Wake the Reflections. Meow? Okay, white, sorcery, populate. I don't know, this is a very underwhelming card in my opinion. You're just making a token that's a copy of another Create a token that's a copy of a creature yeah, a creature token you already control. That can't be good. That can't stand the test of time. Blue Bomber! Did mine not show up? Notion Thief or Pontiff of Blight. Yeah, we did Notion Thief. But we didn't do Pontiff of Blight. Whatever that is. The Pontiff of Blight! 6 mana for a 2/7 with Extort! And other creatures you control have Extort. Extort! That, oh man, I needed to know this card existed. I made an Extort deck once. I didn't know this guy existed. But then it wouldn't have been useful because all my creatures had Extort anyway. Oh no, but it wasn't a commander deck. So I guess this is a really good card for commander because then, how do people feel about Extort? It's so jank. You know what? Now I understand. I made my own Extort deck. The idea of draining everyone's life simultaneously and gaining life, it seemed genius. But it only cost me 1 mana to deal 1 damage to everyone. I could reoccur this over and over and over again. Depending on how many Extort creatures I have on the battlefield, it can do even more. Toads hates Extort. Welcome to Pontiff of the Blight, baby. I'm gonna give it a pass because Toads hates it. So we already have it already has some advantage against some other deck, whatever Toads plays. I don't know why its spells you cast seems unflavorful. You're probably right, but there's no other way to make it work, or probably no way to make it work fairly. Elias K with Zerta Ancient. If you guys want to get your cards through, you gotta start naming like real garbage stuff. Okay, we got the green, red, 3 generic 7/5 beast. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana to his or her mana pool of any type that land could produce. Is this a group hug card? Because I can't see this card being that good. I mean, you're going to tap out to play your Zerta Ancient, and your opponent will just, like, you know, have a huge... You let everyone else have a huge turn before you have a huge turn. So anyway, that card's awkward. But, I mean, I guess playable. Cryptorob with the Rubber Belt Maka. Rubble Belt. Saw some constructed play because of the Blood Rush. It's a 4 mana 3/3, or you can pay a red, discard it, and target attacking creature gets +3/+3. But by today's standard, I don't think anyone's playing this card. Just did not stand the test of time. There we go. Zanzi says the Thrashing Moss Dog. Thrashing it is. 4 mana for 3/3 with Reach, baby! And it's got Scavenge. Wow! Was that a mechanic in this set? So we've completely dodged all the Scavenge cards. Exile this card from your graveyard, put a number of counters equal to this card's power on target creature. Scavenge only as a sorcery, which makes it very awkward. Good for that mana burn commander. Is there a mana burn commander? They brought mana burn back in the form of commander. Toilet Duck. Korozda Gordon. It's Vraska in the sewer. 5 mana for a 2/5 with Death Touch. Pay 2, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. All right. Absolute rubbish. Any more super chats? Nope. I think we got them all. So thank you very much for showing up today. All right. So as it stands, it looks like Dragon's Maze sort of got more appreciated. It aged well with time. While there's still no cards for competitive Magic, there's plenty of cards for the casual crowd in Commander. So this ended up being one of the least appreciated sets when it first released, because everything was jank, expensive, junky, but you know what? It was fun. So thank you very much going down that memory lane. And if you want to be part of this show, you got to be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you very much for supporting the channel by being a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or supporting with the super chats. But most importantly, Coffee Crew, thank you for being here this morning. People like Tommy, Sid, Station Disaster, Platonic Liquid, Alan. We got Mario, Azzy, Stanel. We got Toads. Who else? We have Erlen, Steve Cooper, Crypto Rob. What is this, a crypto monkey? An NFT? Christopher B, Vic the Foxy Gamer, Zanzi, Argentina, Jacob Thune, who else? Echo Drummer, because without all of you, I'd have no show. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cut.